Hey, everybody, it's me, Jonathan Miller, the voice of The Vale, and joined by my very special guest, Sasha Booker. Sasha, we've done this before. I've introduced you several times before,
Yeah,
and you've been around the game not that long, really,
yeah,
but
pretty fresh.
you're going into a big change. And listening to some of our podcast people, they will tell you that the change from what you've been doing into what you're going to be doing. Let's go through it. Let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved in this game of boxing?
To be honest, it was a bit of a wild card. It was through lockdown, which obviously being cooped in and all that was building me a bit of pent up anger, let's just say. And I just needed a way to release it. So I just started. I booked in with Sam Goodrum at the Lions Den Boxing Club. Booked a 1-to-1. First time I ever put a pair of boxing gloves on because I was more into football when I was young. And just yeah, just proper enjoyed it. And then
Okay.
kept going every week, and then eventually joined the sessions and did a bit of technical and sparring and stuff, and just took to it like a duck on water. So yeah, I wish I did it sooner.
That's all right. But you started off in football.
Yeah,
That's not something I expected. But what was that? What was sort
yeah,
of where did you get to in that?
but pretty decent level. I was playing for the likes of Notts County and Notts Forest and stuff till I was like 17,
Hmm.
18. But then kind of just fell off the wagon a bit and didn't really like being told what I could eat and drink and do as an 18-year-old,
Okay.
old, as most
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
find out. Feel like you're missing out of all your friends and stuff. But I mean, it's a shame really. 'Cause some of the girls I was training with back then, like they play for England now and stuff. So it's like it's amazing to see how far they've gone and all that kind of jazz. But yeah, I
So
wish I'd started the boxing.
in an alternative universe, there is a Sasha Booker who is a lioness for England somewhere. Not on the timeline.
Could have been
On the
maybe one
timeline.
day.
No, that's awesome. I think that's a totally different route to a lot of people would have sort of said they got
Yeah.
involved in things and done other sports, but that's really good. So were you signed then to one of the clubs you mentioned, or
Forest and Notts County I was, but it was when I was like 15, 16. I played for a Sunday league as well called Rolls Royce for about 6 years. We got pretty far with them and stuff. But yeah, I just fell out of love with it in the end. I tried getting back into it when I was like 24, 25, but my knees couldn't handle it. Yeah,
no
getting
comment on my
older.
knees at my age? Yeah, my knees are shot. Yeah, playing rugby in my teens now.
Mm.
My knees don't do what they're supposed to do anymore. So yeah, I totally and utterly can uh, sympathise with you on that one. So yeah, so Lions Den, well known,
Yeah,
well respected club in the UK here. Sam, again, great guy. Lots of
yeah,
dealings with him
living
over
to
the
bits.
years, and so that was when was that? When was roughly what year was that?
I
Twenty
think
twenty
it,
twelve.
yeah, I think Sam shared it the other day. It was like, yeah, 2021 in August. I had my first 1-to-1. Like just
Okay.
doing a bit of pad work, bit of fitness. Yeah, so I'm like, it was shocking really because when Sam seen that I mentioned when I messaged him at the page, I said I don't want to mess about, I want a box. So he was like, right, I'm gonna put her through her paces and see if she actually means it. And he tortured me for the first month easily. I was like walking out of the gym, nearly crawling.
Do you know what? Actually, strangely enough, no one's really commented on actually like the levels. I suppose is the sort of maybe the word being politely. Um, Torture you said there, and I think that's. I was like, okay. You hear stories in like professional wrestling where they basically go very hard on the newbie.
Yeah, yeah.
Hulk Hogan's notorious for that one. They apparently broke Hulk Hogan's leg if you read his story and read his book. So, yeah, I'm sure Sam didn't go that hard on you to break anything, but
No, I didn't break
you
any
know,
bones, but I probably
no.
felt like it for about a week after.
What was it then about boxing that ticked all the boxes for you, without no puns intended there?
To be honest, I just fall in love with it and the self discipline, the respect that there is in the gym, and like it's like a family vibe. Everyone was there to help me. No
Hmm.
one took the mick with me, especially because I was so light as well. Like when I first started, I was only 6 stone when I first went to Sam. For my height, I was quite poorly, really. Like I was very underweight. And it took us nearly 3 years to build me up just to 8 stone. And so I'll be going in that super flyweight category. So for
Okay.
my height and reach, I'll have a pretty good advantage, we think, like, for that respect. Because the girls I come across are like up to my shoulders, they're tiny in that weight. So, but yeah, it's took
Yeah,
me a long time to put that weight on. I really struggle putting weight on. I'm a bit opposite to everyone in the gym. So I struggle to put it on, but I can lose it really quick. Like if I'm
yeah,
stressed, I could easily lose a stone in a week. Like not
really.
healthy. Yeah, it
No,
just
that
drops
yeah,
off me.
we all come down to that weight as well. I know, certainly one or two boxers have mentioned that as well. So yeah, yeah, we won't go into the whole cutting weight problem. There's
No,
difficulties around that.
I literally stay at a nice healthy weight
You
now.
stay good.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
fluctuate a kilo or two here and there, but I'm quite lucky. Like I say, for me, being weighed in on the Friday, like the day before the
yeah,
fight, is not ideal because I can't put weight back on. I'm not one of them. Do you know what I mean? So being
okay,
weighed on the day at least is like fair, and none of us have got a chance to like
yeah,
bulk back up. But
yeah,
so for me,
yeah.
that works.
Well, you're obviously going in, as I say, well, I said at the beginning, you're going into the pro arena, so potentially you're going to end up with maybe some day before weigh-ins, particularly if you're elevating to the
Yeah,
sort of levels that I'm sure you're aspiring to get to.
yeah, definitely.
So, but before we get there, your route into boxing obviously is through Sam, but then it's
Yeah,
not a traditional route of amateur slash turn pro. I can only say that because I've announced you in several of those issues. Those issues? That's not the right word. In those shows. So
yeah.
what was the first fight? What was the first one you ever did? In the ring against an opponent.
It would
Do
have
you remember?
been on the Lions Den home show. Yeah, it was in Alfreton back in February 2022, I think. Yeah, so I was training for about 6 months and then had my first fight, and I got a first round stoppage. So that was pretty handy.
Just pretty
Yeah,
handy.
yeah,
And then from there, obviously, you went on to a couple of other.
yeah. Then I went on to the John Ashton shows at Prism. Um, and again, the first two fights I had with him, first round stoppage, one being a KO, and then the other TKO. But yeah, that we realised at that point, like, because all these girls have had a lot more experience on me as well.
Yeah.
So we realised at that point with my height and my reach that, and we struggled to find girls my weight because at that
Mm,
point I was like 48, 50 kilogram. So with the experience I had as well, which was one or two fights, it was really struggled to everyone struggled to match me. So we figured that we'd have a few more fights, make them a bit tougher, and then move into the amateurs because we knew a lot more.
yeah.
Like there's a lot more girls at a lot more weight, like different weights and stuff. So there would have been a
So
bit more opportunity.
yeah. So I mean, obviously, the level you're saying the Ashton promotion shows, one was prison, one was motor potent. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I think I did 4 or 5 for him.
4 or 5. Yeah. That's where we that's where I came into
Yeah,
introducing you as well. So and I came obviously I know Sam and Lansdowne, and like I say, I've been to the house shows and stuff as well. So I think that's an interesting transition because it's obviously there is a level within that,
yeah,
as you said, but
100%. Yeah,
then to find the next level, it meant what some people would consider going a step backwards, maybe, which is going into the amateur boxing, which again is a
yeah,
different kettle of fish for you and a different approach and a different way of training, perhaps. So what did
yeah.
you
Completely
what did
different
you
style of
what
boxing.
yeah, well, talk to me. What was the hardest point, and what was the easiest point of transitioning from sort of semi-pro white collar to the amateurs?
So I feel like the benefits for me, like with the amateurs, you didn't have to sell any tickets. So that was one stress that you didn't have to worry about. You could get
Mm,
on a show, it didn't matter if you brought no one with you, like you'd still get to fight. And everyone's weighed on the day as well, so obviously that was a good bonus for me. However, the style of fighting I find completely and utterly different.
mm,
Amateurs is so fast and they just want they're just looking for the straight shots, and like even if your head just gets flung back a little bit, like it's classes as a count and stuff. Whereas I kind of like to just stand there and go a bit toe to toe with someone. So it felt like my style was definitely more suited to the pros, but you obviously had to go in the amateurs to get there now. bit of part and parcel. So got a bit of experience in the amateurs. My first amateur fight, I think, yeah, she was 2 times national champion, had like 18, 19 fights, and I beat her on a home turf. So for my first fight in the amateurs, like that was definitely a bit of a boost.
Yeah, yeah. That's
It was a nerve-wracking
how many
experience.
Sorry, how many amateurs fights did you get then in debut?
I think it was 8 or 9 in the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do many. I was only in it for like 6 months, 8 months, but we just like slammed them out. Well, one week I had 2 fights in 2 days and stuff, so it was up and down the
Wow.
country a lot with it
Wow.
in a short space of time.
And like you say, the opportunities are there, I suppose,
Yeah,
because there are, and there's less. Again, there's probably more than I don't even know. Actually, I wouldn't want to guess. Actually, I would surmise maybe that there's probably more challenge in the amateurs because there's more clubs associated than just being involved with one or two local clubs in that capacity.
yeah,
I
hundred
guess, you
percent.
know.
Yeah, especially when
Yeah,
you go to these tournaments and the box cups and the championships, like it gets a bit crazy. The amount of talent and different like gyms that are associated with it. Yeah, there's different levels. There's people who have been doing in the amateurs for years because they don't want to go pro. But once you've passed that, once you've had that 11 fights, you're all classed as like it don't matter if you've had 12 or 200. You can
yeah,
like be in that category and fight each other. So it's good to. I've never fought anyone that's had less fights than me.
okay,
I've always took tough opponents and tough fights. So, and to get wins against national champions and winter box cup winners and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
yeah, did pretty well
good.
for the short space of time I was in it.
So, what was the timescale about it? You said again 8 months.
Yeah, I think it was eight months really. Yeah, by the
Yeah,
time we got it all carded and stuff. So it
good.
weren't far off that.
And now the next stage, which is turning over pro debut,
Yes,
September 28th
yes,
on Scott Calloway's car.
yeah, that's the one.
Good. Yeah, I've not don't really know Scott that well, so I can't really sort of say. But I've always seen his productions and his shows. They've always got good fighters on there. He's always got a good little stable going there as well with potential. So you signed a deal with him, and is that right, or
Yeah,
you're still
yeah,
still
yeah,
under Sam, or what? I don't
yeah.
explain to me how it works.
So basically, I've signed a 3-year contract with Scott. Sam's going to be my trainer, and my Scott will be my manager. Um, he's a really sound guy. He's done a lot of work with Sam over the years. We've got a couple of male pros at the gym, but he's always looked after him, always put him first. He's a really good guy. Like I can't fault him at all, really. He's been there
Good,
for me every step of the way, so no bad words to say about him.
good. So, who helped make the decision? Obviously, Scott is now the manager, but who was helping making the decision in the background? Was that just between you and Sam, or was that someone
Yeah,
else?
just
Or
Sam really. Sam's just been pushing me, and he massively believes in me. Thinks I've got the amazing potential to get quite far, especially in the super flyweight category and stuff. So I know he knows his stuff. So it's really nice to have him behind me and stuff, and have that faith in me. But you
okay,
see, I put the work in as well.
yeah. But you go back into the realms of having to sell tickets and other things like that. So you kind of
Yeah,
something you're already used to, and I'm sure the opportunities will come anyway, regardless of whether you go I don't like to say it, but there's also other opportunities within our sport, which is the journeyman route. If that's something that
yeah.
again, perhaps
I
I
mean,
don't know.
Scott gave me the
We
choice at the beginning. He said I could either
Yeah,
go down the journey route or home fighting. Chose to do the home fighting because we think with the amount of girls in the super flyweight category, we think that after 4 or 5 fights on Scott shows and stuff, we'll start pushing for bigger and better fights and start challenging for maybe a few belts and stuff over like to see how it goes. But um,
yeah.
yeah, I know the
Because
journeyman side can be a bit easier to make money and stuff, but yeah, it's not always
I don't
about
think it's
that.
any easier. I don't think it's any easier. I don't want to. I'm not gonna. I think there's less. Like you said, going into the
Less
amateurs,
pressure, yeah,
there's less pressure on you. You're there to
yeah,
do a job, and in effect, and help train the future boxer, whilst also being competitive yourself, and obviously making sure that
Yeah,
you're looked after. And I'm not trying to be derogatory towards journeyman. I've got a journeyman booked on to come and talk to us as well on the podcast in a few weeks' time. So again, I don't get. I guess it's more the sort of point that the journeyman route is a possibility once perhaps you've
yeah,
tried everything. I think that's probably
yeah,
where,
exactly. Yeah,
I don't know. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Some boxers might sort of say, well, actually, no, I always knew that was the route I wanted to go because that's, for me, what I can do. I know my level. I know what I can get to. But I think as well, there's some that, I know one or two that have spoken to me and they've sort of said, would love to have been a world champion, would have loved to have gone down that route. It didn't work out for me. And,
yeah, exactly.
again, I don't want to surmise or suggest anything else because you've got your own ideas of where you want to take this. So where do
Yeah, of
you
course.
see that going? You've already said belts to me on this podcast. So
Yeah.
what is the dream? Where would you like to see this go? Because I think Sam's probably right actually. Because I've known Sam a few years and he's never been wrong to me. So
I'll be pleased you said that.
never done me wrong. And so and he's always delivered on what he said he's going to do. So I think, yeah, if he believes in you,
Yeah.
then I think I'm going to put my money on about what Sam's saying. So for yourself though, you've got to believe it yourself as well.
100%, yeah.
So obviously belts. Any particular belt that you think? Do you know what? I'd like to get that.
I think we'll definitely go for the British Commonwealth. Be a nice little one to have to start off
Mm-hmm.
with. But obviously, a dream would be to be a world champion, 100%. Like, fight at the likes of Wembley or even the big cards at Saudi and stuff that they're having now. They're pulling out some insane fights over there.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, like, unreal. But obviously, yeah, I could. It sounds like a dream, but then like I do think it's possible to get there if I put the work in. I mean, I've
I
worked
know,
hard over the last 3 years to get where I am now so
yeah,
quickly because people have done it for 10 plus years and
yeah.
still never had the opportunities. I'm forever grateful to Sam for everything he's done for me. He's pushed me to my limits. Yeah, I'm the same as you. Like, if he thinks I can do it, I know I can.
100%. At the end of the day, I know it sounds cheesy, but if you believe it, you can achieve it,
Yeah,
and if you want it hard
exactly.
enough, you will go for it and achieve it. It's I don't know what else to say really. That is it in a nutshell. I think if you're manifesting that you're going to do those things, no one's going to stop you apart from yourself at the
Exactly.
end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've spoken to other boxers and they've said the same thing. I didn't go in. So one of them said to me, "You didn't go into the fight with the right mental attitude. You lost the fight." Yeah, understandably, because you didn't go in with probably with that same
Yeah.
mentality of, I'm going through this. He was going through the other issues outside the ring that were causing the problems. So yeah, and he admit that, and he knew that if you put some faith back in himself, like you're doing with yourself, and what Sam's saying to you, Scott's saying the same now as well. There are opportunities in front of you as well, and I hope. And I hope I'm there to announce one or two of them at least. I'd love to do a world title sometime. So
That'd be a journey, wouldn't it?
that would be, and I can say, I know that girl, I know her. And it's like I've done that a couple of times recently. I know that guy. I announced him in a certain thing, and now look at him. He's in the UFC or on Bellator or PFL, and I'm like, oh no, I know him,
Yeah,
and
it's
I've announced
crazy.
that guy, and he's gone on to Commonwealth Championship and WBAs and all these things. You're like, great, that's fantastic, because that's great, because that's the same with the amateurs. I like giving back the amateurs because I know that those are the guys that are going to turn over pro, hopefully, going to go on, see other
Yeah.
things and do other things. And the same, with this now, with your situation, exactly that. You're going on and going to do great things with it as well. So when the dust is settled on the boxing career, I know you probably haven't thought about this much, but what would you like to do? Well, you've done everything you wanted to do within boxing, and you've got the trophies and the belts in the case, looking at you from the corner of your living room. What then? What then?
Like I said, you bang on. Like, I haven't really thought about it too much. Recently, I have been teaching or taking the ladies only class at the boxing club, which has been like really fun and I've really enjoyed it. So I feel like that probably could lead to a teaching route. But again, yeah, I have no idea because if I make it big and I am staring at loads of trophies in the corner of my room,
Hmm.
I'll hopefully be retiring and living on a nice beach.
I can see you driving around with a big yellow car or something, or a big black car. You're just chilling. With the sunglasses on. Look at me on
Yeah,
World Champ.
like I've
Look at the
worked
look.
hard enough for the past 6 years. Time to chill.
I hope it comes true. I hope it does come true because that would be awesome. No, I know. I say this to a lot of people, and they're kind of like, I don't really haven't thought about it really much, but there's obviously, I don't want to be negative, but it is obviously a lifespan to boxing,
Yeah,
and
100%.
there gets to a certain point when, as you said, your knees can't do that in football. The jaw doesn't take any more beats after more punches to the face, and unfortunately, or the ribs, wherever you're getting hit. There's only so much punishment you can take, I guess, and
Yeah,
obviously,
exactly.
at the end of the day, I think perhaps having that sort of plan. Mentioned it to a couple of people, and they've gone, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing the same training and coaching and everything else, and it's always good because once it's in your blood, like you said from the
Yeah,
beginning, it's in
it'd be
there and
hard to
it
stop.
doesn't thing. And obviously, when you're involved in the sports, like I'm not a boxer. I take my hat off to anyone who steps in the ring or into the cage and wants to get punched and hit and beat the other person. I totally and utterly, I'd like to win my own races and my own games and in my own fights, absolutely. But I wouldn't want to go into the ring and do what you do. So hats off to you for that one. So yeah, so I mean, what I'm trying to sort of say is obviously, it's in your blood, but we're a family, if you like, in that respect. We still, when we go
Yeah,
out to shows, it's always good to catch up with other people at the shows and find out, like you were at the show the other week with where I was.
yeah.
It was great to see you, and I turned around for a second. You were there. You turned around again. You're gone. That was for Hannah Jones's fight in the motor point, and it's great. You catch up with people, you see how things are getting on, you have a bit of fun and a bit of conversation, and it's in your blood. You can't get rid of it. So
Yeah, of
yeah, no,
course.
I totally and utterly understand. Perhaps you haven't thought that one through yet, but I'm sure you will go away and think about it now after this. Now I've given you some food for
I
thought,
mean,
I
I've
think.
currently got a dog walking business, so
There you
working
go.
with animals is always something that I've been interested in and stuff. So maybe I'd go back into that or dog boarding or something like that, but
Yeah,
something relatively chilled.
the animals. So again. So this maybe beg the question because I've asked this to a few others. How do you afford to do everything? I mean, you're going into professional boxing now as well. Are you supported financially by a sponsor or a sub someone like that, or are you working whilst you're doing this as well as training?
Yeah, so I am working and training twice a day, probably 6 days a week. But yeah, I do have a dog walking business and dog like sitting business, so that keeps me
Mm-hmm.
afloat. But then I've also got yeah, a fair few generous sponsors that help me along with medicals and stuff like that, and any
Mm.
kits or equipment I need. Like yeah, they're all quite reliable, and I've got a fair few that help with my recovery, as in sports massages and cold tubs and
Give him a
salt.
shout. Give him a shout out because there might be others who might be looking, and then
Yeah, I've had Rebalance Sports Massage. She's been with me since day one, bless her. Recovery rooms in Long Eaton. I go there quite often for my rest days and stuff. Keg Engineering, that's Sam's company. Him and his dad have supported me a lot through it all. I'm on the spot now.
sorry,
I know,
okay.
it's just all remembering them all. There's All Right George is a removal company in Stapleford. MT Tiling is a tiling company in Hena. Um, Exceptional Vapes, they help me a lot with a lot of my stuff and my kits. Yeah, I know there's someone else I'm missing as well.
It'll come to you. So
Yeah.
your typical day. What does your typical day look like? What? How does that look?
So leave the house about 6:30. Gym 7 till 8 every morning, Monday to Friday. Gym again in the evening for 2 hours. Either technical sparring
Mm.
or bag work, circuit work, stuff like that, strength and conditioning. So yeah, Monday to Friday, twice a day, and then Saturday I'll normally go in and do a few hours, either sparring or strength and conditioning with Sam. I mean, we're doing a lot of weights, trying to like get my weight up properly and
Yeah.
talk me out of it, and then yeah, I'm just gonna slowly come down and just do some strength and conditioning and fitness for the next few weeks, and
Mm.
probably knock the sparring on the head as of this weekend, because obviously I don't want any more shiners ready for the fight.
Well, yes, we want you looking pristine, ready to go, and ready for the cameras on the 28th of September. Hopefully, this will come out. I got a strange feeling like this might drop out a little bit after that. So you hopefully will have won your debut, and I can put this on the notes here as well. So, so yeah. So look. Anyway, we always sort of come to the end of the podcast now, and we sort of say I go through a couple of quick fire questions for boxers that you probably know the answers. You probably and which ones you prefer. All right, so it's quite quick
Okay.
fire, and we'll wrap it up there from there. But I really enjoyed this conversation. It's been really interesting seeing how again everyone's different, and it's always great to see. So anyway, southpaw then or orthodox? Which one for you?
Orthodox.
Body shots or head shots?
See, I love a good uppercut.
Okay, so
So
headshot, yeah.
yeah,
Train alone or with a partner or team?
50-50. I like to train alone, but
Okay.
then also everyone, if you don't train with a team, there's no one to bring you on. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In that respect,
Yeah, yeah,
everyone's different, and you learn a bit of everything off everyone's.
yeah.
A bit
Early
torn on
bird
that one.
or oh god, so a bit torn. Sorry. Early bird or night owl?
Oh, night owl,
Okay, okay. The heavy bag or speed bag?
heavy bag.
Underdog or as the favourite?
Oh, I love a good underdog. Yeah,
Okay. Boxing gym or outside training?
boxing gym.
Okay. You're not one to run the mountains and up the hills and all that sort of stuff, no. Short. Sam will be like, he'll be listening to this. You go, okay, I'll get her outside now. I'll get her outside running some hills now just for that. Short and powerful punches or long and technical?
Short and powerful.
Fight dirty or clean?
Oh, clean.
The loud crowd or a quiet atmosphere? You had both.
Yeah,
So
see, I hate it. Yeah, I know. I hate it when you can feel like you can hear a pin drop, so it's got to be loud atmosphere.
I'm sure the box caps a couple of times. They have crowds. You know, some of the bouts though they are quite quick, aren't they? And it's quite turnaround.
Yeah.
Sometimes the crowd's not there for each and every fight that's going on. So I get that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Quick knockouts or the strategic long win?
I've got to go with quick knockout.
Well, yeah. Well, your first couple of fights.
As soon as I've had a few, yeah.
Exactly. I guess that kind of that fits, really, doesn't it? So okay. AJ or Fury? I know they're not got a fight on, and he's fighting Dubois, and the same night you're fighting.
With recent performances, I think I'd put my money on AJ. To be honest.
Okay. I'm interested to see how that fight goes as well. I think I think at some point for the fans at least they've got to do it.
I know it's got to be done.
It's got to be done, even if they're not at their best.
Dragging it out too much now.
Yeah, I know there are others coming up, and obviously Fury's still got his mandatory against rematch. Sorry, not his mandatory rematch against Usyk, and obviously Joshua's trying to put something together, and I'm sure something will come from this as well. Dubois though is a new name on the scene. There's others starting to come up as well. That younger fighters going through the heavyweight division. I've got my eye on one or two, thinking they're going to make some big noise in a few fights time, and it's not far off those opportunities. And but I'd love to see AJ versus Fury. I'd love to see it happen. I still want it to see it happen.
Yeah, I think
Make
the
it
whole
happen.
world
Come on,
wants to see it
come
now.
on, Eddie. Come on, Eddie.
They've got enough money now. Just do it.
Come on, Frank. Just sign the deal. Just get it done. Anyway, Sasha, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and we look forward to seeing how you progress in the future. And for the socials, how do people get in contact with you if they want to follow you, get tickets? How do they find their next favorite boxer?
So it's just Sasha Booker on Facebook, and then Instagram it's SashaB_boxing, and you'll see me pop up somewhere, I'm sure. Or obviously follow the lines then, Boxing Club or Sam Goodrum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're very live accounts, and you see a lot of my work on there. So
excellent. I'll make sure I get the links on the Facebook and in the comments as well below, as well as your box record, because that's the next thing as well to get on there as well. We look forward to seeing you return pro. Anyway, thank you, Sasha. Thanks again for so much for joining us on the Big Hype podcast, and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, cheers, Jonathan. Thanks for your time. I'll
No worries.
take care and I'll see you soon.